if we can get our acts together, if governance ठीक बाटोमा हिँड्ने हो भने, I think अर्थतन्त्र जुरुक्कै उठेर हिँड्ने अवस्थामा छ। यो लेभलको कल्पना गर्न सकिन्न थियो। आजको दिन जति खर्च गर्न हामी सक्ने अवस्था छ, आजभन्दा 10-12 वर्ष अगाडि यतिको लेभलको केही खर्च गर्छ। आजको दिनमा हामी इफ वी वान्ट टु अघि नै भने मैले के अरे फिस्कल पोलिसी लेड, आजको दिनमा नेपालमा हामी काम गर्ने हो, योजना बनाउने हो, इन्भेन्टरी अफ प्रोजेक्ट्स हुने भने 400 अर्ब सङ्घीय सरकारले पनि पुँजीगत खर्च गर्न कुनै समस्या छैन। वी क्रिएटेड गभर्नमेन्ट एट एभ्री लेयर, स्थानीय तहमा छ, वार्डमा छ, 6743 वार्डमा छ, 753 पालिकामा छ, 7 वटा प्रदेशमा छ, केन्द्रमा छ। यो सबै सरकारले आखिर यो त इन्भेस्टमेन्ट हो नि त। The reason we created federalism is अरूको जे होला मोटिभेसन, माई मोटिभेसन इज सिंहदरबारलाई जनताको घरमा लग्यो भने मेबी पिपुल विल से यस यसरी काम गर भनेर, मोर अकाउन्टेबल होला, मोर रेस्पोन्सिभ होला। त्यो गर्ने क्रमका लागि the institutional infrastructure is there, economic size is reasonably good, private sector is pretty mobile, our level of education is pretty good, our healthcare facilities are ठिकै छ यहाँ छ, and then agriculture side ma pani we consume a lot, and to consumption like cater गर्ने भने agriculture को led growth को लागि पनि ठाउँ छ, infrastructure development अघि नै मैले capital expenditure यो सबै चाहन्छ। hydropower मा we've signed an agreement with India that 10 वर्षमा 10,000 megawatt 10,000 megawatt गर्न। अब बिजुली बेच्नलाई हामी बढी कुरा गरेर जियो पोलिटिक्समा यता जाने कि उता जाने, सरकार बनाउँदाखेरि दक्षिण पश्चिमतिर हेर्ने कि उत्तरतर्फ हेर्ने भने जस्तो हाइड्रो पावर एक्सपोर्ट गर्नेवाला त्यो सुविधा छैन होला नि हामीलाई। हाइड्रो पावरको देयर इज अ टाइम, पानीको समय छैन, जहिलेलाई पनि हुन्छ, तर पानीबाट निस्किने ऊर्जा चाहिँ 15-20 वर्ष होला। नेपाल रहँदासम्मको पोटेन्सियल जहिले पनि भएको टुरिज्म, त्यसै आजको दिनमा ग्रोथको लागि हाइड्रो पावर तत्काल, टुरिज्म फरएभर, कहिले सकिँदैन टुरिज्म, तर फर द्याट वी निड इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाउने कुराको लागि अगेन आई गो ब्याक के अरे फिस्कल पोलिसी लेड ग्रोथको लागि जानु पर्यो। एग्रिकल्चरमा ट्रिमेन्डस स्पेस इज देयर, जुरुक्कै उठ्न सक्छ। अनि टेक्नोलोजीमा हाम्रो जस्तो रगेड टोपोग्राफीमा टेक्नोलोजी क्यान बी अ बिग एडभान्टेज, बट इफ वी डु नट युज द टेक्नोलोजी प्रपरली, टेक्नोलोजीले नै हामीलाई जानिदिन्छ। Internet, ICT, artificial intelligence. I'll quote one more book here, again by S.C. Moglu, and a new co-author this time around, Power and Progress. The conclusion he reaches is, हरेक टेक्नोलोजीको चेन्जमा there are winners and losers. यो आउने टेक्नोलोजीको चेन्जबाट पनि there will be winners and losers. नेपालको गएको 30 वर्षमा पनि there have been winners and losers. तपाईँ घरमा रेमिटेन्स पठाउने, घरमा रेमिटेन्स आउँछ कि आउँदैन, छेउको घरमा रेमिटेन्स आउँदैन भने रेमिटेन्स आउने घरको भन्दा फरक छ स्थिति। तपाईँ काठमाडौँमा बस्नुहुन्छ कि ठुलो सहर विराटमा बस्नुहुन्छ कि गाउँमा बस्नुहुन्छ, विनर्स एन्ड लुजर्स। तपाईँको पेसा, तपाईँको कमाउने ठाउँ सर्भिस सेक्टर हो कि तपाईँको उही खेतीपाती गरेर बस्नु भएको छ, देयर आर विनर्स एन्ड लुजर्स। भने हरेक टेक्नोलोजीको चेन्जसँगै देयर विल बी विनर्स एन्ड लुजर्स। सबभन्दा पहिले मान्छेको सभ्यताको विकास भयो, विकासको पहिलो जबसम्म मान्छेले आगो बाल्न जानेको थिएन तबसम्म हामी एकदम कमजोर एनिमल थियौँ, अर्को कुनै पनि एनिमलले हामीलाई खान्थ्यो। आगो बाल्न सिकेपछि हामीहरू बल्ल केभमा बलियो भयौँ हामी, कि केभमा बस्दाखेरि अर्को जानवर डराउन थाल्यो आगो बाल्न सक्छ भनेर। त्यसपछि केमा टाइम हन्टर ग्यादरबाट हामी एग्रिकल्चरल टुल्स बनाउन थालेपछि त्यो टुल्सको आधारबाट हामी कृषिको उत्पादन गऱ्यौँ, परिवार बनायौँ, एग्रिकल्चर रेभोल्युसन सबैतिर हुँदै गयो होला, परिवार बनाएर घरमा एक ठाउँमा बसेर काम गर्ने भयौँ। देयर आर अल्सो विनर्स एन्ड लुजर्स। त्यस पछाडिको इन्डस्ट्रियल रेभोल्युसन्समा पनि द विनर्स एन्ड लुजर्स। बिजुलीले जहाँसम्म पुर्यायो हामीलाई, द विनर्स एन्ड लुजर्स। आजको एआईले पनि द बी विनर्स एन्ड लुजर्स। यदि हामीले यो टेक्नोलोजीलाई प्रयोग गर्न सकेनौँ एज ए नेसन भने एउटा हामीलाई फाइदा पनि छ, तर सँगसँगै समस्या पनि उत्तिकै होला नि। पढा लेखा मान्छे आई थिङ्क अन्तखेरि ब्राह्मण लेफ्ट भनेर ठाउँमा पिकेटी कल्छम पढा लेखा मान्छेहरू खालि आफ्नो सुविधाको मात्रै मा पुग्ने हो कि थाहा छैन यो टेक्नोलोजीबाट अलिकति ज्ञान टेक्नोलोजीको भएको मान्छेलाई बढी ठुलो फाइदा होला थुप्रो मान्छे विल लेफ्ट बिहाइन्ड हैन आजको जब के भन्दाखेरि हिजो मैले अमेरिकाबाट म 3 वर्ष पीएचडी सकेपछि 3 वर्ष पढाएँ न्युयोर्क युनिभर्सिटीमा यहाँ फर्किँदाखेरि सबभन्दा ठुलो नेपालमा आउने थियो म सब मान्छेले भन्थे रेडियोलोजी पढ्नुस् भन्थे द रिजन वाज रेडियोलोजिस्टको जब अमेरिकामा जति पनि थियो आजको दिनमा बिकज अफ एआई रेडियोलोजीको मोस्ट अफ द वर्क विल बी डन बाई एआई खालि एक्सपर्ट कन्सल्टेन्ट मात्रै अलिअलि गर्न पाउँछ होला बरु कपाल काट्ने काम चाहिँ एआईले अहिलेसम्म गर्न सकेको छैन ड्राइभरको जागिर अब बाँकी रहँदैन त्यसैले देयर बी विनर्स एन्ड लुजर्स नेपालको आजको कथा हामी आत्तिनुपर्ने छैन तर एस्योर गर्ने जिम्मा त आत्तिएर हिँडिरहेको मान्छेलाई एस्योर गर्ने जिम्मा मैले त्यस अर्थमा भन्छु मेरो हो राजनीति गर्ने मान्छेको हो राजनीति गर्ने पार्टीमध्ये पनि 80 वर्षदेखि नेपालको राजनीतिलाई नेतृत्व गरेको पार्टी नेपाली काङ्ग्रेसको हो त्यो मेरो पार्टी हो सिन्स आई एम अ पब्लिक पर्सन and then if I say what I feel like and then that gives me an ample opportunity to listen back from you where I am wrong and then I still feel very strongly that I am still somewhere around in Nepali political arena where I can just go back and after having heard you go back and say well this is what people are feeling this is what the professionals are feeling this is probably what needs to be changed. So I thought, I'll just be just like me instead of being very artificial. And that certainly, again, let me emphasize, will give me an opportunity to be corrected on where I'm wrong. One of the first things that I got as a dividend as I came in was arrogance or arrogance, how they call it. They gave me this flyer. I've lost all of my hair almost, and now I guess they are leading hair transplant center in Nepal. This is windfall gain I've gotten so by being here. Talking about Nepal, I see two stories. We all say in different ways, a positive and negative. But negative story comes much more so because today, I guess, because of the situation that we're facing, because of the technology that's there today, and because of many other things. And then again, I guess many of us do not have responsibility. And if you are not responsible, then probably saying whatever you would like to, that probably is a good pastime also. So nothing against that, but at the same time, I guess if we all are gathered here today, this afternoon, and then if we go back and say, well, we talked about it, does not seem like we can do anything. That's not going to do anything good. So let's try to understand where the difficulties are, and let's also try to understand what are very strong spots in our country. Let me just walk you through a few numbers. These are my favorite numbers. I'm not going to use all of those, but some of the numbers. This probably makes sense to start with. Nepal's GDP in 1990-91 was 120 million rupees, right? 12 arbako, sorry, billion. And now we can come back to that. And today it is 5.348 billion. This is an increase of 45 folds, increase of 45 folds GDP. And if we look at revenue, 10 arab ko revenue, now it's like 11 kharab 80, an increase of 100 folds. And then if we look at per capita income, this is our per capita income back in 1991 was 6,367. Today our per capita income is 176,951. That's again an increase of 25 folds. And one might probably say, well, the purchasing capacity also has changed, so do not take that into account. Of course we have to. But this basically gives us a sense as to how far we have come from where we were in 1990. Coming back to making it comparable, the numbers that we have today, and in terms of how they were back then. And then prices increased like 10 times. If you look at GDP deflator in 2022, 32 years, it has increased 10 folds, a little less than 10 folds. So I mean, you can just divide everything by 10. GDP has increased 4.5 times. Our revenue has increased 10 times, meaning we get more revenue out of the gross domestic product that we produce in the country. And then our per capita income has increased by 2.5 times. These are very good achievements by any standard. Very good achievements if we to compare our country to any other country in the world. I mean, this is a record we should all be very proud of. And that's despite the fact that Nepal restored democracy in 1991, and then armed conflict started in 1996. Hardly we got 5 years plus. And then it took us all, the conflict was there for 10 years, from 1996 through 2006. And then after peace process and everything, it took us 10 years to get the peace process done and to get the constitution done. And after the constitution is done, since 2022, 23, here, I mean, since 2015, 2016, it's been 7 years since then. And it's all pretty proud record that we can have. If you look at the numbers a little closely, and then what we see is, in the last 7 years, our GDP has increased by 6.9%. Before that, it increased by 5.2. I'm dividing four basic timelines. One, restoration of democracy, and then when the armed conflict started, and then when it started making peace, and then when we wrote the constitution, and then until today. So what we see is basically all through, for the 6 years since democracy was established, our GDP increased by 5%. Then during the conflict, it would only increase by 3.6%, very naturally, because I mean we're in conflict. Then after the conflict was over, GDP grew by 5.2%. And then since then, in the last 7 years, it has grown by almost 7% per year, which is a very good record that we have. But now, I mean, this is one side of the story. The other side of the story is, given all of this, 2,000 people are leaving country every day in search of job. Every day, about a little over 200 students are leaving Nepal and hoping that they will get to go somewhere else, get a better education, and come back to Nepal. These are facts. Today, we import. If we look at our agricultural sector also, what we have today is, let me just go back to these numbers. Food grain production. I mean, a lot of times what you hear is we've become dependent. We were very independent on food grain production. Now we import food. But there's another side to it, which we have not recognized. Food grain production in 1990 was 7.5 million metric tons. Today it is 11.2 million metric tons, an increase of 1.5 folds. Not very good, but still, a lot of people still have a feeling that we're producing less than we used to did in 1990. We import food grains because we consume more. We consume more, and likewise, I mean, if we go back, cash crops, it used to be 3.79 million metric tons. Today it's 6.9 million metric tons, which is 1.8 folds since then. Not bad. Fruits, from 0.473 million metric tons, today it is 1.44, which is 3 folds increase since then. Vegetables, from 1.736, we moved to 4.332, which is like 2.5 folds since then. These are reasonably good achievement, not something that's super. I guess we all know agricultural production has grown, agricultural GDP has grown by about 3 percentage points sustained over a long period of time. That's not really something we can all say, well, that's super, but at the same time we can say, given that where we are today, that probably is not something one would say one can easily brush off. But at the same time, we should also recognize that the other side of the story is today we import agricultural products worth 250 billion Nepali rupees. We can look at this as we have not grown. We have grown as people, we have increased our consumption, but you are not producing more. That's the bad part of it. But at the same time, if you look at it from another perspective, is that not an opportunity? That's a huge opportunity. What can we do about it? We'll come back to that. Let me talk about a few other numbers, and then maybe and then we can come back to the stories. Half of the population used to live below poverty back then. Today the number is 20%. That's an achievement. Our literacy used to be 50%. Today is 85%. More importantly, my favorite statistics is our life expectancy used to be 54 years. Today it's 72 years. In past 32 years, our life expectancy has increased by 18 years. Every 2 minutes, we're increasing our life expectancy by half of that, which is a tremendous achievement. This is not just a number. For that, we need a lot of things. For that, consumption is important. For that, healthcare is important. For that, education is important. For that, road infrastructure is important. For that, irrigation is important. For that, almost anything that one can think of fits into the process whereby one's life expectancy increases. These are very proud of the records that we can all be very proud of. But again, I have to add another thing. Since then probably one of the impressions that you might be getting is, yes, Minendra Rizal is an NC person. The NC has been in power for a long time since then, and he's probably trying to defend the record. I'm not here to defend the record. What I'm trying to get out here, get the story out here is, we are not very bad. We are at a stage where we can, if we get our acts together, we can just take off. There are hindrances. There are hiccups. There are hiccups naturally. Otherwise, why would so many people would leave Nepal? Right? They are seeing something that they don't like. They're leaving the country because they don't like what they're seeing. Not only even the ones who have not finished college education, they're going out for college education. I said that, and I'm repeating it. And what is it they are seeing? What is it that we are doing, and what is it they are seeing? First, I should hasten to admit that these achievements are not because of us. Us meaning Nepali Congress, political parties, or the government. Some of it are because, but most of it is in spite of us. And if we do not recognize, we probably will not find our way through. Otherwise, we probably will be talking about history, and we probably will not be learning lessons for tomorrow. One of the things that comes to my mind today is, before I get to that, let me talk about few other numbers. These are latest numbers. I don't compare 1990 to today on these ones. Today, interest rate, 91-day treasury is 3%. So there's not a lot of space. If treasury rate's going to go down, there's a limit to how low it can go. Interbank rate, 2.92. And then base rate is 8.77. What does that mean is, on the monetary policy side, our room is not very wide. We have to recognize that. A lot of people talk about monetary policy and then making it more flexible, creating a situation where people will be borrowing more, investing more. That's not going to happen so easily. There is not a lot of space there. Inflation, 4.8% is compared to 7.4 last year. But 4.8 more is on the trend than 7.4. 7.4 was exception because of Russia's war on Ukraine and many other things that that impacted. But I mean, if you look at the inflation numbers the year before that, what you basically see is it has hovered around 5 percentage points, except for a few exceptions. So I mean, that probably is where we're going to stay. The point I'm now trying to make here is, now what we need to do is, the only way we can move forward as a nation to build what we would like to see us build is, this has to be a fiscal policy-led growth. If we do not look at our fiscal policy, then we probably are not going to go anywhere. On fiscal policy, I mean, let me just present a few numbers, and then probably we can continue the discussion. Revenue, last year, yesterday, on the day as yesterday, was 744 billion Nepali rupees. Revenue today is 815. With inflation, that's not a big number, right? We have not, our record on revenue collection has not been very good. It used to be pretty good, but in the last few years, we've not been able to do much good. Total receipts, I mean, I don't need to, I mean, that's 785 to today's 840. Total expenditure, last year it was 10 kharba 24 hijoko dinma. Today it is 10 kharba 23, not spending. And if you look at worst is, if you look at the capital expenditure, yesterday, last year was 123, 1 kharba 23 arba, and yesterday it was 1 kharba 8 arba. And let's compare that number a little longer, with a little longer horizon. 2074-75 ma election hunuvanda agadiko government ko capital expenditure was 270 billion Nepali rupees. We have never reached that level again. We have never reached that level again. If you factor in inflation, 270 billion to 2074-75 is equivalent to 425 today. So meaning our capacity to expend, capacity to build capital goods has decreased. One might just put an argument saying that, well, not all of it goes through the federal government. Some of it is we spend through the federal, I mean, provincial government also. If you put expenditure of all the governments, provincial, local, and the federal government, a total expenditure, capital expenditure is about 425. Just the trend. We are basically at the same level as we were in Ajavanda 6 वर्ष अगाडिको लेभलमा छौं, which is not very encouraging. Now, monetary policy को space is limited. Fiscal policy मा ample space छ भन्ने मैले कुरा गरे. Now, I would not go to numbers too much. अब यो पछाडी let me just talk about why is it we have not changed. There must be a reason why we have not changed. There are countries that have changed. I think one of the finest example would be, I don't know, I mean, many times people say, Minendrajal talks about US more often than about Nepal. I would not do that today, but I mean, this example would be most motivating example. When Russia sent its Antarikshama afno jahaz pathayeपछि, right? Yuri Gagarin went there, and then US thought Russia is ahead of us. And then President Kennedy in 1961 said, before the decade is out, we'll put a man on the moon and bring him safe back. Kennedy was assassinated, but it took less than 8 years for the US to send a man on the moon and bring the man back. And the reason we have not been able to increase our capital expenditure is we do not walk the talk that we do. I'll just give you one example. This is my new favorite example. I mean, nothing against the minister that I will refer to. I mean, I get along very well with him, even though he's from a different political party. He just few days back, he said, हामीले के निर्माण भौतिक पूर्वाधार निर्माण प्राधिकरण बनाउनु पर्यो. And then I was asking myself, this is the mindset we are. I'm not saying it's only them. It's us, all of us who are in politics. भौतिक पूर्वाधार, infrastructure, construction infrastructure को authority बनाउने हो भने, and what will the Prime Minister do? भाषण गर्ने. The mindset that we are in. मन्त्रीको काम, प्रधानमन्त्रीको काम, सचिवको काम, अर्को काम चाहिँ भाषण गर्ने अनि काम गर्नको लागि प्राधिकरण बनाउनु पर्ने. As long as we stay in that mindset, we are not going to get anywhere. The mindset, what do we have to get out of that mindset? And then again, let me just go back there. अर्को एउटा चिज. अब एउटा book, a few months back, I finished reading that book. A pretty recent book. I mean, I really liked it. How Big Things Get Done. Ben Flyber and Dan Gardner. And this is a marvelous book. Those of you who have been in development sector in Nepal for more than 20 years probably have met him when he was working for the Danish Fund here. And then to kitabma euta ramailo interesting one of the thing is Nepal ko safal project ko pani example cha. Nepal ko safal project example ma school building banaउने कुरा चाहिँ before the Maoist insurgency started. This is like one of the best projects they have implemented. And then he talks about how things do not get done, and compares that with how things get done. Not only in developing countries, even in developed countries, it does not just happen. One example he uses there is Australia ko Sydney ko Opera House. Opera House banaune ma time overrun, cost overrun, took them forever to get it done. That's like one of the marvelous things human civilization has made. But at the same time, tayari nagarikana garea hunale in all front they were really bad. The reason being, paile naksha banaउँदाखेरि was done in two dimensions. It was a marvelous picture, marvelous naksha. They said, this is how we want our opera house done. And then nothing in detail was done. And because of that, cost overrun, time overrun, everything. I mean, all the frustration. The architect that designed the entire thing, after that project, he was never seen again. Because that's a big failure for him. He compares that with how Empire State Building was built. 100 वर्ष अगाडिको कुरा हो. 100 वर्ष अगाडि एक हप्तामा 1.5 तलासम्म पनि बन्यो. It was finished before time, finished within budget. And this is like one of the marvelous achievements human civilization has made. The reason being, कसरी Empire State Building बनाउनेमा भन्दाखेरि कति फलाम चाहिन्छ, कति झाल बन्ने हो, कति सिमेन्ट चाहिने हो, कति मोर्टर बनाउने हो. Every detail was there. Everything was worked out. त्यसै ठ्याक्कै त्यही काम गर्दै जाँदाखेरि पुग्ने भयो होला. This is how it was done. So meaning, devil lies in the detail that we do not know. हाम्रो नेपालको biggest समस्या इज भन्दाखेरि devil lies in the detail, institution, governance भनेको कुरा नै के भन्दाखेरि हामी जस्तो भन्नुहोस् mindset. I'm not intending to insult him, but the thing is, प्राधिकरण बेग्लै चाहिन्छ भने this is not the first time I have heard. मैले मेरो पार्टीको कलिग सरसँग बसेर कुरा गर्दाखेरि काठमाडौँको विकास गर्नलाई काठमाडौँ प्राधिकरण बनाउनु पर्यो अथवा फल्ना ठाउँको कर्णालीको विकास गर्नलाई कर्णाली प्राधिकरण बनाउनु पर्यो. बिफोर वी स्टार्टेड टकिङ अबाउट फेडरलिजम, मेरो पार्टीको साथीहरूले विकासमा राम्रै ध्यान भएको साथीहरूले कुरा गर्थे. अनि प्राधिकरण बनाउने भने सरकार किन बनाउनु त? आई थिङ्क म अझ नेगेटिभ कुरा गर्ने भन्दा पनि सरकारले त्यो काम गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने पोइन्ट गर्न खोजेँ मैले। अब अर्को एक्जाम्पल मैले फेरि आई गो ब्याक टु बेन फ्लाइबर एन्ड ड्यान गार्डनर। एउटै मान्छेको कथा पनि दुईवटा हुनसक्छ। एउटै मान्छे जसले सुएज क्यानल गर्यो, मार्भलस अचिभमेन्ट, फिट अफ एक्म्प्लिसमेन्ट बाई एनी स्ट्यान्डर्ड, द सेम पर्सन Panama Canal was a big fiasco. Got it, finally got done, but took for longer and longer time, and then beyond budget, beyond time horizon. And because it there's so many काम हुँदैन भन्ने कुरा, marvelous example he uses is Los Angeles देखि San Francisco railway line. महँगोमा ढिलो मात्रै होइन, कहिले बनाएको छैन आजसम्म. And decades have passed by, and they did not get the project done. The reason I'm bringing this up is when we talk about development, if we do not recognize that, बसेर काम नगरिकन हामीले आफ्नो के अरे बाउला माथि नसारिकन काम गर्न नबसिकन हुँदैन भन्ने हो। यदि त्यो गरेनौँ भने हामी कहीँ पनि पुग्दैनौँ भने हो। अब अर्कोतर्फ समस्या कुरा गर्दाखेरि मैले आई निड टु टाइम वाइज कतिमा पुगेको छु म? 22 मिनट, ओके। त्यहाँदेखि नै रहेछ ल, थ्याङ्क यू फर पोइन्टिङ द्याट आउट। अब म जहाँ बसेर काम गरिरहेको छु त्यसमा हेर्ने भने मलाई एउटा अर्को फेरि आई युज अनदर राइटर हेयर, उहाँको सबभन्दा नाम चलेको किताब चाहिँ वाइ नेसन्स फेल। मैले त्यो किताबको एक्जाम्पल अहिले युज गरेन। हामी कन्फ्लिक्टबाट हिँड्यौँ। गएको 24 इयर्समा इन द वर्ल्ड 25 countries have lost democracy. 1990 को डिकेडमा हामीले डेमोक्रेसी फेरि ल्यायौँ। तर त्यो बेलादेखि अहिलेसम्म 25% of the countries, more than almost 85 countries either established democracy or restored democracy during that period. After Berlin, fall of Berlin Wall. 25% of those countries have relapsed back into conflict. Violent or as bad as violent, more ethnic, and what that has done. And त्यसले prompt गर्यो Darren Acemoglu र जोन्सनलाई कि डेमोक्रेसी भनेको चाहिँ असाध्यै न्यारो करिडोरमा, स्टेट असाध्यै बलियो भयो भने अथोरिटेरियन स्टेट हुन्छ, सोसाइटी असाध्यै बलियो र स्टेट चाहिँ कमजोर भयो भने देन खियस के अरे कफिलाको राज, जहाँ कुनै सरकार छैन, जसले जे चलाए पनि आफ्नो सानसानो कफिला चलाए हुन्छ भने। यमनदेखि लिएर त्यस्ता थुप्रै देशहरूको इक्जाम्पल उहाँले युज गर्नुभएको छ। एन्ड वेयर आर वी, हामी चाहिँ काहीँ न काहीँ, जगदीशजी यहाँ सँगै हुनुहुन्छ, जगदीशजीले पहिले कुरा गरिराख्नुहुन्थ्यो, गणेश मानजीको इक्जाम्पल। हाम्रो नेपालको राज्य चाहिँ के छ भन्दाखेरि सफ्ट स्टेट, त्यो के अरे चिप्ले किराको जस्तो दुईवटा टाउको देखाउने, तर अलिक ठुलो मान्छेले आएर अलिकति छुइदियो भने ठ्याक्कै दुइटै चिज बन्द भित्र गर्ने। हामीले यो स्टेटलाई त्योभन्दा चेन्ज गरेनौँ, सफ्ट स्टेट सिन्ड्रोमभन्दा बाहिर जान सकेनौँ भने हामी फेरि पनि यही झन्झटमा परि नै राख्छौँ भन्ने हो। स्टेट साह्रै बलियो भयो भने, मैले एक्जाम्पल दिनु पर्दैन, के अरे टर्कीको एर्दोवान, हङ्गरीको भिक्टर अर्बान, अब अहिले त सरकारमा छैनन्, अलि अगाडि पोल्यान्डको कुजिन्स्की, अथवा के भन्दाखेरि अहिले सत्तामा छैनन् ब्राजिलको बोल्सोनारो, यस्ता थुप्रै देशहरू छन् जहाँ इलेक्टेड डिक्टेटरहरू, इलेक्टेड अथोरिटेरियन रिजिम भएको छ। सफल नहुने हो भने, जहाँ स्टेट चाहिँ असाध्यै बलियो भयो, सोसाइटी असाध्यै कमजोर भयो। सोसाइटी असाध्यै बलियो र स्टेट हुँदै भएन भने त्यसै अराजकता बाहेक केही पनि हुँदैन। अराजकताको इक्जाम्पल पनि दुनियाँभरि जहाँसुकै पाउन सकिन्छ। कसरी त्यो ब्यालेन्समा हिँड्ने, आई थिङ्क फर ए कन्ट्री लाइक आवर्स त्यो च्यालेन्ज चाहिँ आज पनि जस्ता तस्तै छ। थुप्रैले कुरा गर्नुहुन्छ होइन च्यालेन्ज छैन भन्दाखेरि, राजनीतिको च्यालेन्ज आई स्टिल थिङ्क इट्स प्रोफाउन्ड, इज अ प्यारामाउन्ट सिग्निफिकेन्स। हामीले यो लेभलको फ्रस्ट्रेसन, एकातर्फ मैले भने अचिभमेन्ट मजाले घच्ची साथ दुनियाँलाई देखाउन सक्ने खालको अचिभमेन्ट छ, बट एट द सेम टाइम द फ्रस्ट्रेसन्स आउट देयर, the feeling that nothing's happening is there. And if we cannot rise up to the challenge that's there, if we cannot get our youngsters to understand that there is an opportunity, a wider opportunity within Nepal than outside, and not only that, telling them, but I'm convincing them that they have a better future. Better future awaits them in Nepal. Then we will meet the fate of any of those countries. Right ko extreme, left ko extreme, all over the world. ठुला ठुला देशमा पनि आजको दिनमा elected authoritarian regime छ and personal freedom को space चाहिँ झन shrink गरेर गएको छ. Then again, this much example, Martin Wolf has written a book, The Crisis of Democratic Capitalism. That's a very nice book. जसमा के भन्दाखेरि जसै यसै गर्दै लिएर जाने हो भने अनि त्यसपछि either right को extreme or left को extreme अनि democracy को space सानो हुँदै जाने अथवा के भन्दाखेरि capital चाहिँ अराजक भएर जाने. त्यसैले हामी आजको दिनमा let's try to understand that opportunity, मज्जाको opportunity छ, गच्चीको opportunity छ. तर अर्को एउटा example दिन्छु मैले चन्द्रजीलाई यहाँ देखेँ एकछिनपछि उहाँ प्यानल हुनुहुन्छ. The mindset that we have is, I will say this, whether I am off this mark here or not, I do not know. We talked about investment summit. We all thought it was needed. But then all of a sudden what happens is the government changes. Government changes and then we didn't even pause for a moment to say, well, how is that going to impact us? Do we do it? Do we make more preparation? Do we see what the previous government had done? What are the preparations? What went into the process? Even the nature of the government was changed, right? And then we didn't do that. It's not only me saying it. Even, earlier today, you had a speaker, former finance minister, Yuvraj Khatiwada. He also made a point saying that let's just wait for a little while, maybe a month or two that we need for the preparation. And we did not do it because we wanted to do it on the same day that it was originally scheduled. And what happens? Compared to investment summits done earlier, by the commitment that we have received so far, one cannot say this was very successful. We all thought it needed to be done, but why do we do that? For us, I guess, pausing, reflecting and saying that, well, maybe I'm not ready yet. Maybe I have to think through it. Maybe I'll prepare for another 10 days, 15 days, a month or so. If we do not do that, we will not be able to get the achievement. One of the things that came today, I guess, yesterday or today came a statistics. We spent much less than what we had allocated for the investment summit. What we spent is not important. What it will bring back is more important. Will we be able to do that? I don't know. We will do anything that it takes to help the government out. Because of the problem in the parliament, government came up with the executive order. We all supported it because we needed that. But executive order alone does not do anything. If you go back to 1990, when we're opening our economy, one of the things we used to talk about is one-window policy. One-window policy has been there forever, and the policy was there in the books only, right? We never became one-window investment place. So what I'm saying here is, yes, we are all in it together. If one talks about the blame, there's enough blame to go around. If one would like to talk about the achievements, there's enough to talk about. A nation's achievements are some of the achievements of the individuals. And then if we look at the achievements we have made, I've given the statistics at the beginning also, that we can be very proud of it. Another thing I would like to point out, and if I do not do that, then I'll be failing in my responsibility. I think today's biggest problem is crony capitalism. I'm not saying that this happened since the new government has been formed. I'm not saying that this happened when Nepali Congress has not been in power. For the last 10 years, we've gotten worse in this count. I'll just give you a few examples. Agi Yuvraj Khatiwada was there. म मन्त्री थिएँ, युवराजी गभर्नर हुनुहुन्थ्यो. एउटा कुनै संस्थाको डिभिडेन्ड रिपेट्रिएसनको कुरा आयो. And then I said, if I do not get the books right, I will not allow this to be done. कसैले भन्ला के if you look at it from investment perspective, then how can you stop repatriation dividend? But the thing is, books have to be done right. युवराजी पनि जानुभयो, त्यसको अलि दिनपछि म गएँ, अनि त्यस पछाडि डिभिडेन्ड रिपेट्रिएसन भयो। अहिलेसम्म त्यो संस्थामा के अरे अनेक चिजको करको कुरा चाहिँ मुद्दा ठुल्ठुलो चल्ने क्रम भयो, म नाम लिन्न। त्यसले पनि हाम्रो शासन के छ अर्को एक्जाम्पल हो। इन्फर्मेसन एन्ड कम्युनिकेसन टेक्नोलोजीले बिग एडभान्टेज देला, तर सँगसँगै हाम्रो टेलिकम्युनिकेसनको झन्झट त हेज बिन पेरेनियल। कहिले कसले कसलाई किन्यो कि किनेन, को मिसिन्छ कि को मिसिँदैन, कसले के फ्रिक्वेन्सी पाउँछ, द्याट्स नट गोना गो अवे। अहिले पनि आइएसपीहरूले पैसा दिने कुरामा पैसा दिनुपर्छ पर्दैन बहस छ। एन्ड दिस इज प्रब्लम वी हेभ क्रिएटेड। म को गल्तीमा छ छैन भन्दैन। अब जग्गा लिजमा दिने अथवा जग्गा अधिग्रहण गर्ने, बट द्याट हेज डन इज विकास हुनु परेन। मैले पोलिसी मेकरले डिसिसन मेकरले आफूले मैले नराम्रोसँग भन्नु खोजेँ कमाउने खोज्या हो भने पनि देशको विकास सँगसँगै कमाउने बाटो भयो भए त देशको विकास पनि भएको छ, कमाउँछ पनि भन्ने। तर यहाँ जग्गा लिजमा दिए पुग्यो, उदाहरण धेरै दिनु पर्दैन। बालुवाटार जग्गा, नारायणी जग्गा, पशुपतिको जग्गा, अथवा जग्गा के भन्दाखेरि अधिग्रहण गर्ने कुरा। एयरपोर्ट बनाएर प्लेन उडाउनु जरुरत छैन, एयरपोर्ट बनाए पुग्यो। अनि त्यही देयर इज मनी टु बी मेड। अल वी निड टु डु इज एयरपोर्ट बनाए पुग्यो। अब मैले अरू व्याख्या गर्नु परेन। अब अहिलेको अर्को विवाद, त्यो अर्को झन्झट कहाँ पुगेको छ, मेरो आफ्नो ओपिनियन छ, धेरै लामो त त्यसो भन्दैन। तर लोड सेडिङको टाइममा डेडिकेटेड र ट्रङ्क लाइनवाला विवाद अलिक गम्भीरतापूर्वक हेर्यो भने कसले प्रमाण पेश गर्ने कि नगर्ने, बर्डन अफ प्रुफमा कोर्टले के अरे अहिले आयोगले केही निर्णय गरेको छ, यो लडाइँ अलि चलि नै रहेछ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई। सुगतजी हुनुहुन्छ, फोनमा कुरा गरेर आउँछु भन्नुभयो हाम्रो एयरक्राफ्ट किन्ने र बेच्ने कुरामा। मैले एकजना मन्त्रीजीलाई भन्थेँ पहिले क्याबिनेटमा सँगै हुँदाखेरि, तपाईँभन्दा मैले लायक मन्त्री कोही देखाएको छैन, तपाईँ नै हो यस्तो मन्त्री। यो चाहिँ धेरै अगाडि म पहिलोपल्ट मन्त्री हुँदाखेरि, तपाईँ नै यस्तो मन्त्री हो जसले जहाज किन्यो पनि जहाज बेच्यो पनि भने। यो त हाम्रो समस्याहरू हो नि त। यो क्रोनिक क्यापिटल अब नातागोतालाई दिने, अनि यो रन्टिए क्यापिटलिजम, अनि सुद खाने, नयाँ क्रिएट गर्नु परेन। We don't need to create value, we don't need to create capital, we don't need to form capital, but we still can be rich. अहिले पनि मलाई my worry is बुढी गण्डकी जलाशयुक्त आयोजना चाहिएको छ, कहाँ छ? गोर्खामा छ। प्रधानमन्त्रीको कन्स्टिट्युएन्सीको छेउमा टाँसेको अर्को कन्स्टिट्युएन्सीमा हो। चाँडो गर्नु पर्यो भनेको छ। चाँडो गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने नाममा के होला भने जग्गा अधिग्रहणको काम चाहिँ सकिएला, बुढी गण्डकी जलाशयुक्त आएको काम के आयोजना काम चाहिँ बाँकी रहेको रह्यो होला। के भन्दा मैले पार्लिमेन्टमा आरएनएससीले 3टा बिजनेस गर्छ भने पहिले आरएनएससी हुने बेलामा पार्लिमेन्टमा थिएन, म त्यो बेला योजना आयोगमा थिएँ। one is international, second is विराटनगर भैरवा यस्तै ठाउँमा जहाँ अर्को प्लेन पनि जान्छ प्राइभेटको त्यहाँ जाने, अर्को नेपालको दुर्गम ठाउँमा जहाँ अर्को कुनै मोड अफ ट्रान्सपोर्टेसन छैन। कुनै मोड अफ ट्रान्सपोर्टेसन नभएको ठाउँमा वेयर आर ए युज टु फ्लाइ, त्यहाँ त सब्सिडाइज गरेर पनि पठाउनु पऱ्यो नि त। आइम टकिङ अबाउट किनकि म 59 सालमा योजना आयोगमा थिएँ भन्दाखेरि लामै समय अगाडिको कुरा हो। अर्को इन्टरनेसनल फ्लाइटमा अहिलेको जमाना यसरी किन एउटा कुनै दुनियाँको ठुल्ठुलो एयरलाइन्सले पनि एक्लै गरेको छैन, एलायन्सेसमा काम गरिरहेको छ। एन्ड देन यहाँ भक्तपुर जाने मिनी बस चलाए जस्तो ल आरेको प्लेन उड्दैछ आउनुहोस् चढ्नुहोस् भने एयरपोर्टमा गएर त चलाउन सकिन्न नि त। अनि विराटनगर जाने भैरवा जानेमा अर्को प्राइभेट प्रोभाइडर छ भने किन अर्को जाने? अब हाम्रो समस्या के हो भन्दाखेरि नेपालको झन्डावाला जाने कि नजाने, फ्ल्याग क्यारियर एयरक्राफ्ट हुने कि नहुने, युरोपसम्म अमेरिकासम्म नेपालको फ्ल्याग क्यारियर हुने कि नहुने। अनि इमोसनल्ली बट वी डु इज किनकि ओहो यो कसरी रोक्ने। अनि अलि दिन चलाउँछौँ चल्दैन फेरि अनि त्यस पछाडि त्यसलाई बेच्छौँ यो झन्झटबाट हामी मुक्त भएको छैनौँ आई थिङ्क मेरो बिगेस्ट मेरो कन्सर्न टुडे इज डेभलपमेन्ट र पर्सनल के अरे पर्सनल इन्ट्रेस्ट चाहिँ डाइभर्स गर्न थाल्यो हामीले विकाससँग नजोडिएको वर्ग क्रिएट गर्यौँ जुन वर्गलाई के भन्दाखेरि यो सफ्ट स्टेटलाई फाइदा लिएर आफ्नो कमाइ धमाइको धन्दा गर्न सक्ने इफ यु डु नट गेट रेड अफ इट समस्यामा त पर्छौँ हरेक दिन अहिले मैले 2000 मान्छे गइरहेको छु किन गइरहेको छु भन्दाखेरि वाट डु दे गेट टु हियर इज चुनाव लड्छौँ हामी आज गठबन्धन बनाउँछौँ चुनाव जितेर आउँछौँ चुनाव जित्नको लागि गठबन्धन बनाउँछौँ अरू केही कारण छैन 74 को चुनाव हेर्नुहोस् अहिलेको चुनाव हेर्नुहोस् जितेर आउँछौँ 74 example is the promise was we run as Left Alliance, we'll form a party and then we'll run the country and deliver prosperity to the country. What happens is party is unified, but little over 2 years then जसरी फुट्नु पर्थ्यो सबै तरिकाले फुट्यो कुनै दुईटै पार्टी एक ठाउँमा सग्लो रहन सकेन अस्ति 79 मा हाम्रो पार्टीले म नेपाली नै तरिकाले भनौँ यहाँ चाहिँ लाल के अरे हँसिया हथौडा भनेको रुख हो रुख भने हँसिया हथौडा हो भनेर चुनाव लड्यौँ डज द्याट मेक सेन्स इट डज नट मेक सेन्स आयौँ चुनाव जितेर एकअर्काको सहयोग लिएर काठमाडौँ आउनु पाएको छैन यता प्रधानमन्त्री नहुनेपछि अर्कोतिर दौडेर जाने त्यो आउनुहोस् प्रधानमन्त्री यता छ म बनाउँछु भनेपछि गुटुटुटु दौड्यो त्यसो गयो भनेपछि फेरि फर्काएर आउनुहोस् यता बस्यौँ भने फेरि अहिले अर्को चेन्ज भइसक्यो अनि प्रधानमन्त्री आफै हिसेस तीनपल्ट विश्वासको मत लिनु पर्यो यो त के लाजै मर्दो हो भनेर अनि मुख्य नायक आउनुहुन्छ आम हेर्ने मान्छेले के भन्छ भने तपाईँ रोजगारीको कुरा गर्नुहुन्छ मेरो रोजगारीको कुरा गर्नुहुन्छ तपाईँको आफ्नो रोजगारीको चिन्ता के अरे तपाईँलाई चिन्ता छ प्रधानमन्त्रीलाई प्रधानमन्त्रीको मन्त्रीलाई मन्त्रीको सरकार बनाएदेखि भोलिपल्टदेखि सरकार जोगाउने चिन्ता जो बाहिर पर्छ त्यसले सरकार भत्काउने चिन्ता त्यो त देखिरहेछ नि मान्छेले त्यो देखिरहेको फ्रस्ट्रेसनबाट दे आर लिभिङ द कन्ट्री इन फ्लक्स इफ वी डु नट रेकग्नाइज दिस प्रब्लम एक्जिस्ट वी बी फुल नट टु देन अगेन ह्याभिङ सेड द्याट अघि नैको कुरा फेरि कोही पछि आउनु भएको छ भने म फेरि दोहोऱ्याउन चाहन्छु नेपालीको औसत आयु 32 वर्षमा 18 वर्षले बढ्यो 14-15 वर्षले बढ्यो 32 वर्षमा नेपालको रेभेन्यू 100 गुणा बढ्यो नेपालको जीडीपी को साइज 45 गुणा बढ्यो नेपालको पर क्यापिटा इन्कम 25 गुणा बढ्यो एन्ड रियल टर्म्स हो भने त्यसलाई 10-10 भाग गर्नुहोस् 10 गुणाले रेभेन्यू रियल टर्म्समा बढ्यो 4.5 गुणाले जीडीपी रियल टर्म्समा बढ्यो 2.5 गुणाले पर क्यापिटा इन्कम बढ्यो भन्दा एकातिर त्यो पनि छ भन्दा अब कसरी अगाडि जाने भन्दाखेरि आई थिङ्क कि